back to my channel. This video is more about my recent market, and the market was in Park Slope in Brooklyn, and it was I was a part of Trade and Prosper conglomerate in the market, and it was very good. I'm going to talk more about it, but first I want to show you like my setup. I was able to have 2 tables this time, and I have a brand new banner, had a tent and all that stuff. So you'll see that part first and see the crowd and the foot traffic and the kind of ambience of the place, and then I will talk more about my experience, plans going forward, how it was, and things like that. Once again, if you're new here, my name is Adero, small business owner, artist, scientist, teacher, many hats here, but welcome. And if you're an old friend, welcome back. So I'm going to pause here and let you just have a glimpse and see what the market was like, and then I'm going to come back and talk more in depth about the experience. I really apologize, I could not show you the setup because it was me alone in the morning. It's early, very early, and I was sick. It was just not a good day, but I had to soldier on in pain and other things going on, but it wasn't all bad. Later on in the day I did get help towards the end, which was a huge breather for me, but yeah, I'll be back. There is a lot of people. Sales have been good. A lot of foot traffic. As per usual, the aim is to make back the table. Baker's Manifest, Trade and Prosper. See a lot of people, my neighbors. Outside is nice and warm. The breeze doesn't blow in my painting. So yeah, so you just saw the crowd. you heard some of my helpers who came and helped me a lot. So this was my first time doing an outdoor market of this size. And I just want to thank Trade and Prosper because they came in clutch. It was a good experience, definitely. And I would absolutely sign up with them again for next year. And I'll aim for the same time. Where the day was so warm. It was very warm, and I love that. I would have been miserable if it was a cold, wet day. But it just so worked out that was a time where it was warm, it was sunny outside, and there was a lot of foot traffic. I mean, it was a regular Park Slope market for Sunday where they blocked off the entire Fifth Avenue, and people from like the entire mile stretch or more of just vendors, food, markets, everything. So you could walk the entire strip of Fifth Avenue in Park Slope, Brooklyn. So I was just my Trade and Prosper was in one block, so we were between Union and President and Street and Fifth Avenue, which is coincidentally near my school that I teach at. So my school is 2 blocks up, but I teach high school biology, if you're wondering. But yeah, as I started the day, was just I woke up at 5 o'clock. I woke up very early, and it was me alone for a while, and then just health emergency just took over, but I still had to push through and set up the tent. Trust in the universe that when I was looking for parking, that no one would steal my stuff. But it was good. And then I had 2 helpers came in clutch. I messaged them saying, hey, can you guys come? And they're like, yeah, we can come. I was so happy. They're former students, but they live in the area, and they came, and they were such huge helps. And I have this habit where I would feel anxious, like, oh my God. I know it's my process. It's just my internal monologue going haywire, worrying about if they will, or if they won't like my art, if they will like my art, will it attract people? I was beginning to worry about my setup because my tables were further in under the shade versus more facing the street so people can see it in their faces. They had to actually come in the tent, and I was kind of worried about that. But then I was like, you know what? It's a hot day. And I think my reasoning was that people would appreciate, one, that appreciate having the shade, and 2, my soaps would melt, and I didn't want my art prints to be directly in the sun without the fight for 8 hours. That would be crazy, because that would like degrade the paint, degrade the ink and stuff. So I didn't want that to happen. But it was a needless worry because it worked out. People came in, and then my helpers were like, yeah, come in, and they were like putting people in and come take a look, and there are more people engaged because I'm not that, and I really appreciated that. So shout out to them. They know who they are. I don't want to say their names because in case I didn't get their consent that I can say their name, but they know who they are, and I just wanted to, I really appreciated that because that is a weakness of mine. There is no hawker in me to say, hey, come in, and later on family members came, and they were also helping and saying, promoting and hyping up the items for sale. So that was a huge help as well. And when I say people, it was a lot of people. Like, I didn't realize it was the entire strip until I started talking to people about, where they've been, and they're like, yeah, it's stretched all the way to Atlantic and coming all the way up, So it was a lot. It was a lot of people, and I appreciate that. So at the end of the day, I did make back my table costs as well as a profit. So I am happy with that. And the cost for the table for Trade and Prosper was, I want to say $195 that was the cost for the table. So I brought my own tent and stuff, so I didn't have to pay for the tent and anything like that. So I'm keeping my tent for another, if I have another outdoor market. So they're also going to be on my radar of markets to do for next year again. So that's a good thing. So that's a plus. The coordinator, Louise, lovely lady. She was very pleasant, very helpful, high energy. You know, she kind of helped me calm my nerves. I told her it was my first time here, and she kind of like gave me a breakdown of what to expect. You know, that there's gonna be the security, there's gonna be police, you know, everywhere. They're gonna be, you know, they're blocking off the roads and keeping, you know, crowd control, safe space. So that was good, and she was very helpful and energetic. She was walking. We saw her through the entire day, and she checked in on us to make sure that we were okay, how things were doing, and you know, if we needed to step away to like use the restroom or get a break for something to eat or drink, she was also there to help in that regard. So I was very grateful for her for that as well. So thank you again, Lois from Trade and Prosper, Makers Manifest. So that was amazing. Yeah. I know they have markets all throughout Manhattan. They'll pop up in Manhattan. So if you go on their Instagram, you can see their dates. But I choose dates for places where it's more convenient for me in getting there. Manhattan parking is just outrageous. And because it was me alone, it was easier in Brooklyn than it was in Manhattan. So that was good. So one thing I've noticed in the video that I did differently was I had easels. Because it was a 10 by 10 space, I had way more space to work with, which I really appreciated. Normally, for example, at Artisan Fleas, I only have I can only do the 6-foot table, right? Or maybe not. Maybe, okay. So I'm doing my next video, but my next market should be Artisan Fleas, and they would give me a 6-foot table. But if I can borrow a 4-foot table, then I can probably have a similar setup for that, and then I can have my actual paintings on easels. Because I find that what I realized with this market was that when I had my easels showing my actual artwork, the original paintings, it attracted people inside, and I sold way more art prints than if I didn't. So I'm glad I took that risk. One of the larger paintings fell on the floor and that kind of got dented at the tip, so that was very nerve-wracking. So if I'm going to be doing that, I'm going to have to put it in a frame and have it framed first, so it doesn't it's more secure. So that was kind of a nerve-wracking thing for me. I would have been so mad. I'm not gonna lie. I would have been so mad if it got destroyed. It was some family. It was an accident. It wasn't on purpose. But if the damage was extensive and irreversible, I would have been very upset. I really would have been very upset about it. No lies. But yeah. I'm glad it's a small thing which can be fixed, and I'm just gonna put it's the big one with the ballerina on it. So I'll put that one. I'll get a frame for that one and have it so it's secured. It's so big, and sorry about that. I got distracted by mini-me's. Yeah. So as I was saying, if I'm going to be using my big canvases, I would put them in a frame first, because those are on a standalone easel, so that's more easy to upload than if it was just on a tabletop. So that's something I have to consider for next time. But hopefully with if I can see the size, if I can see the the space that I get for artisan fleas, I could possibly be able to have maybe a 2 tables. I don't know. I'll figure it out. We'll see what can happen with this time. But yeah, but that was a very big help in terms of selling my art prints and people engaging with it, which was very gratifying as an artist, because my art style is not necessarily in the trendy parts of social media. You know, I don't do oils. My color, my style, I'm very good with realism, and my style is just unique to me in terms of how I would use my acrylics and stuff, and the kind of tones I use. I don't use oils, just acrylic, watercolor. My primary mediums are acrylic, watercolor, gouache, you know, and of course sketches. I do sketches and charcoal and stuff like that. But the more mainstream styles, such as, you know, digital art and, you know, with Procreate and things like that, or even using oils or certain styles, is just not me, you know. And I'm okay with that, because that's just the medium that I'm able to express my artistic style and design that way, if that makes sense. So that's always a concern for me, you know, as an artist, and you know, getting your art out there. You worry sometimes, like, oh my gosh, you know, will this attract someone, you know what I mean? But so I think if I can have, even if it's just one piece on an easel hung up somewhere or something, I would do that at every market that I can. So that's the takeaway I have from this Trade and Prosper market. And I would definitely do it again, you know. To speak about other markets, on the docket for this summer so far, I have a weekend at Artisan Fleas in Williamsburg, and I have 3 more markets with Bushwick. I'm going to hold off on doing a video for Bushwick Market until I've done all the other 3. So I did the first market, but it's just the first one, so I don't want to say anything yet. I want to just wait and see and get more experience and exposure with them before I do a full proper video for Bushwick. So I've also applied to Queen's Night Market, but the waiting list is outrageous and they haven't gotten back to me. So I don't think I'm gonna be doing it this year, but when next year comes around, I will definitely apply early as possible for Queen's Night Market. That's supposed to be another nice experience. Sorry, my finger's in the way. A nice experience to for markets as well. I find that I do better at markets and my online. I'm not sure how to promote it some more, but that's something I'm gonna have to, you know, jig around with social media to see if I can drive traffic to the website and not just have the market. You know, people have been going to websites and I mean, they have my card, but it's a card, so I find that people might forget, you know, they have these cards you know, in their wallets and they forget about it, and you know, but that's my next business, you know, in terms of admin stuff to do, is to figure out a way to drive more visits to the website. That is the next step. There's always ideas in the head of designs I want to do. Soaps. So the soaps, the top 3 scents that went really well are the Lily Lemon Drop. Everyone loves that. Wild Heather, and another one was the Coastal Rain. Those are the top 3, and then after that it would have been the Evergreen Cedar, which they love. In terms of candles, the top sellers were the Lilac Honeysuckle, the Eucalyptus Cotton, and the Summer Rain, I believe it's called. So those are like the main ones. The Rose and Lavender didn't do so hot, which is fine. But we're still in the R&D stages in terms of candles and soaps. Still gathering data, and we'll be making adjustments as needed as I gather more information. I'll be making more adjustments to designs and scent combinations or intensities. So I know for some of the candles, I would increase the scent load for those, so it's more noticeable. So that's one of the things I'm going to be doing as well. But yeah, so far so good. I'm very happy with it. It was a lovely experience. Very start for the week. Or this is a lot, but it's worth it. Definitely worth it. So thank you again for everyone who came out and supported Jonathan Whimsy, friends, family, even customers. I saw a gentleman, love the gentleman. He came at the Hester Street Fair at Chinatown, and he bought something from me there. He bought a soap that's there, and then he's like, "Hey, I know you," and I'm like, "Yes, you do." And our doggy's been like, "Yeah, you bought something from me at Hester Street store," and he was like, "Yeah." And we had this whole conversation. That was a nice feeling to have like a return customer from a previous market saw you at the next market. That was nice. So he was so lovely, and he loved the product, and he's like, "Yes, I'm using it right now," and give me feedback, which I really, really appreciated. So that was great to see. Like it almost feels like you're building a customer base, which is nice. And the word of mouth. So yeah, that was how it was. Yes, I am meditating in my bedroom. Sorry, I live in New York City. I ain't got the space. This is me. This is it. This is what you're getting. This is how it's going to be. Sometimes. So I apologize if it doesn't appeal to your sense of aesthetics and what you're used to, but this is me as I am. So yes, so my next video will be a journaling video, so you can check that out in my other playlist. I have a new journal which I'm excited about. It's so lovely. So I'll be doing a setup for June in my next journal video, so you can see that. So yeah, remember to like, subscribe, go to the store jotandwhimsy.com. I'll have a link in the bio, and you can go there and see the new stuff that we got and support. And thank you for watching, and come back and stay tuned for the next updates. Bye.